Sports.
We are Black Horse. We are Ron Regan.
It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Florida Marlins. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday afternoon to you, wherever you may be. The Dodgers and the Marlins concluding their series and concluding their work against each other for the year. So far, the Marlins have won 3 of 5, and each team has won 1 of the previous 2. And today, the Dodgers hope to win the series and get back on the winning track. It'll be Clayton Kershaw with a record of 5-3 on the hill for the Dodgers, and for the Florida Marlins, Ricky Nolasco with a record of 4-0. By the way, since 2007, the Marlins have done well here. They've beaten the Dodgers 10 of 15. We'll get to the ball game. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this.
Manuel, celebrate your birthday this year at San Manuel Indian Bingo and Casino and receive a special birthday package. Visit sanmanuel.com for details. You must be 21 to enter the casino. Moments away from the rubber game between the Marlins and the Dodgers. A great opportunity to watch Clayton Kershaw pitch with Steve Lyons and Patrick O'Neill. Clayton in his 4th year. We continue to see his evolution, his growth. Reminds you of one of the game's greats. You were around Clemens. We've seen Hershiser here. He really has that temperament.
Yeah, he does, and it's amazing what we've asked this kid to do. We ask him to be the ace of the staff in the opening day starter. We ask him to go up against every other team's ace. Now we're asking him to go out there and win games after losses to turn things around. We ask him to do all of this at the age of 23 years old. Is he going to go out there and be great every time? No. But then you know what we ask him to do? Win without your best stuff. go out there even when you're not great and win anyway. That's a lot of pressure to put on a 23-year-old kid. He handles it beautifully.
Yeah, he sure does. So today, an opportunity, another start for Clayton, a chance for him to continue his evolution as one of the game's top pitchers.
All right, Julio.
Pitching is the art of instilling fear. Sandy Koufax. Hitting is timing. Pitching is up. Warren Spahn. Pitchers, like poets, are born, not made. Cy Young.
Hyundai, introducing the Hyundai Assurance Trade-in Value Guarantee. See your Hyundai dealer for details. By Shakey's, win a pizza party for 10. Go to Shakey's.com. By CarMax, now more than ever, the smart choice is CarMax. And by AT&T. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday afternoon to you, wherever you may be. We're at Dodger Stadium for the final game of the 3-game series between the Dodgers and the Florida Marlins. On the horizon, the Colorado Rockies will be in here tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday before the Dodgers then go out on the road. For the Dodgers trying to turn things around, they have really fallen upon lean times. They've lost 7 of the last 10. They've lost 10 out of 14. However, they still remain just 6 back, in the sense that it would appear those teams ahead of them might be coming back a wee bit. The San Francisco Giants, the world champions, struggling now without Buster Posey. Colorado will be in here without Jorge De La Rosa and with a somewhat struggling Ubaldo Jimenez. Only the dark horse, the Arizona Diamondbacks, have really picked up, and they've won 12 of the last 14. But like the weather, just about an hour ago, the sky was black. It looked like it was going to pour rain. Now we have plenty of blue sky and puffy white clouds overhead. Here's the Florida Marlin lineup, and of course they're very optimistic. They're only 2 back of the division-leading Philadelphia Phillies. Chris Coghlan leads off in center, Hanley Ramirez at short, Logan Morrison in left field, Gabby Sanchez at first base, Mike Stanton in right field, John Buck behind the plate. Omar Infante at second base. Emilio Bonifacio is at third base. And Ricky Nolasco, a local boy, will be on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw. The 23-year-old is 5-3 with the league, 0-1 against the Marlins. He took the loss April the 26th in Florida, allowing 4 runs in a game that saw the Dodgers lose 4-2. He is 1-1 in his career against the Marlins. So it's Kershaw trying to lead the Dodgers back, and then Chad Billingsley will be on the mound tomorrow at 5 o'clock to go after the Rockies. For the Florida Marlins, one of their problems offensively for Eddie Rodriguez is the top of the lineup. He is not getting much production from Chris Coghlan and then Hanley Ramirez. Once you get down to Morrison, Sanchez, you're okay, but the top 2 hitters have not been setting the table, as they say. Meanwhile, Clayton Kershaw ready and delivers. Coghlan takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Coghlan did come back nicely in last night's game. He had a double and 2 singles. He went 0 for 4 in the first game. And the left-hand hitter backs off on a strike, and the count 0-2. A beautiful day. Temperature at the start of the game 64 degrees. No real breeze, so very comfortable sitting in the sunshine. And the strike 2 pitch on the way is high. Ball 1, 1-2. Chris Coghlan against Clayton Kershaw. So you have 2 top young talents. Kershaw you know about, and Coghlan was the Rookie of the Year in 2009. He starts to swing, can't do it, and strikes out. So down goes Coghlan, 1 away. 78 strikeouts now for Clayton Kershaw. Here are the Dodgers with the leather. Gibbons, Kemp, and Ethier, with Blake, Furcal, Carroll, and Sands on the infield. Deanna Navarro will be catching Clayton Kershaw. Rod Barajas gets a rest. Here's Hanley Ramirez, another outstanding talent, having a terrible time getting started. Another Rookie of the Year, former batting champion, struggling and hitting only .211. He has 4 home runs. Kershaw delivers, and the pitch is high, ball 1. As far as Ramirez is concerned, he is 2 for 9 in the past against Clayton Kershaw. Hanley waiting. The 1-0 pitch on the way, very high, ball 2, 2-0. So Hanley Ramirez, a brilliant young shortstop, hitting .389 against left-handers. The 2-0 pitch, he swings, fouls it at the plate, and the count 2-1. When you look at some of the credentials of Hanley Ramirez, he was the Rookie of the Year in 2006. He was the batting champion in 2009. He signed a 6-year extension in 2008, so he'll be playing for the Marlins through 2014. 2-1 pitch on the way. Fastball swung on, popped up right side. It will be the second baseman, Jamie Carroll, making the catch. And just like that, 2 down, first inning. For the Marlins, by winning last night, they continue to play far better on the road than they do at home. The Marlins are 14-12 at home. They are 16-8 on the road, and they've won 10 of the last 15 games here at Dodger Stadium, going back to 2007. Here another left-hand hitter, and a good one, Logan Morrison, who swings and fouls it away. 0-1 the count. Logan hitting .327 with 6 home runs and 18 runs batted in. So you saw that Ramirez was hitting well. As far as left-hand starters are concerned, the Marlins are 1 game above 500. They're 7-6. Morrison takes another strike, and the count 0-2. Remember when Clayton Kershaw used to have a lot of trouble in the first inning? He's turned that around a lot. He's become extremely effective in his first 3 innings of almost all of his starts. Strike 2 pitch is a fastball inside, hits the bat on a check swing, so the count stays 0-2 to Logan Morrison. We've told it a couple of times, but we're not going to see the Marlins anymore. Logan Morrison. His first name is Justice. Here's the strike 2 pitch, way off the plate, ball 1. Justice is spelled Justis. And when they asked his dad, Tom, how come you named the baby Justice, he said, I want more justice in the world. The only thing is the spelling is different. The 1-2 pitch on the way, and the big guy swings and misses. Navarro drops it, picks it up, and throws to first, and that'll do it. Kershaw strikes out 2 of the 3 in the first inning, walks off, and at the end of half an inning, Marlins nothing, Dodgers coming up. Pitches, strikes out 2 of the 3. Now let's take a look at the Dodger lineup that'll try and get him some runs. Rafael Furcal, followed by Casey Blake, Andre Ethier, and Matt Kemp. Gary Sands normally in left field, but he'll take over at first base today. Jay Gibbons is in left field. Deonna Navarro with good numbers in the past against Nolasco behind the plate. Jamie Carroll at second, and Clayton Kershaw on the mound. On the mound for Florida, Ricky Nolasco. He is a local boy. Nolasco went to school at Rialto High School. Born in Corona, lives in Rialto. And the first pitch is a one-hopper to third off the bat of Rafael Furcal, and the out immediately at first base. So Rafael doesn't hang around, 1 away, and the batter will be Casey Blake. For Ricky Nolasco, he is estimating that he has at least 100 friends and family here today, maybe even more than that. This is the second time he has started a game at Dodger Stadium. Back in 2008, he went 6 here, allowed 2 runs, and was not involved in the decision. So Ricky ready, delivers fastball in for a strike to Casey Blake. 0-1 the count. Case hitting .295. 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in. Nolasco turns on the rubber. Ricky ready in his strike 1 pitch. Another fastball in there. Back to back at 91. 0-2 the count to Blake. Ricky 6'2", about 220. He'll be 29 in December. Originally a 4th round pick by the Cubs out of Rialto High School. He started playing T-ball at the tender age of 4. The next pitch down and away, ball 1. His dad, Emilio, was born and raised in Mexico, came here to the United States as a 19-year-old and fell in love with the Dodgers, they tell us, and passed along the passion to his sons. Nolasco ready, and Ricky's 1-2 pitch on the way, down and away, ball 2, 2-2. Ricky, as a kid, was here at Dodger Stadium and watched Kevin Gross pitched his no-hitter against the Giants in 1992, so he was 10 years old at the time. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count to Casey Blake. Nolasco delivers, ground ball, foul outside of third. We can use the time. The Dodgers have been bitten again. The disabled list will add yet another name. Kenley Jansen has been put on the DL with right shoulder inflammation. The Dodgers have called up Josh Lindblom from AA Chattanooga. And in order to make room on the 40-man roster, Travis Schlichting was designated for assignment. 2-2 pitch is swung on and foul back, so the count stays 2-2. No score, bottom of the first inning. The Dodgers are 3 games under 500 at home, 4 games under 500 on the road. They are break even 6-6 against the East. Now the 2-2 pitch on the way, and that's fouled away again. So Casey Blake fouling them off. For Ricky Nolasco, baseball has been his life, he says, and his older brother Dave was picked by the Brewers in 2001, got as far as AA, and now works for the city of Beaumont as a land surveyor. Ricky says he learned everything about the game from his brother. Fastball in at the knuckles, ball 3, 3-2. So Ricky Nolasco returning to Dodger Stadium. When he was growing up and becoming a prospect, he had to choose between signing with the Cubs and going to Long Beach State on a scholarship. Casey fouls yet another pitch away. For Nolasco, he opted to sign with the Cubs in 2001. 3-2 the count. Waiting on deck, Andre Ethier. Nolasco, both feet on the rubber, looks down to get a sign. Blake has not faced him in the past. The 3-2 pitch is fouled away again. We were talking last night about the price of the foul ball, and it's been that kind of an at-bat. Already, Blake has seen 10 pitches from Nolasco. This will be the 11th. So Casey Blake waiting at the plate. Nolasco ready. Ricky comes back, and that's fouled away. So it's going to be at least a 12 pitch at bat. 3-2 the count. Last night, of course, the foul balls were extremely important because Brian Sanchez, a reliever, started the game, went a little over his lifetime mark. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Casey Blake. Swung on and missed. So Blake goes down swinging with 2 out after fouling off 6 with 2 strikes on him. He swings and comes up empty. So 2 out in the first inning, and Andre Ethier coming up. Ethier in the past 3 for 7 against Ricky Nolasco. Andre hitting .316 as he checks in at the plate. 2 out first inning, no score. Nolasco works quickly, right-handed delivers, fastball high, ball 1. He lives in that 90s speed area, 90, 92, thereabouts. Has been clocked occasionally at 94. Got a lot of pitches. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way, and that's in there for a strike. Nolasco, fastball, 2 different curves. 3 years ago, he added a splitter. So the 2 curves, one that big 12-6, and the other's tighter, more like a slider. And he also added a cutter. And the fastball at the knees for a strike, and the count 1-2. So Ricky Nolasco, who signed with the Cubs out of Rialto, California, now returns to try to beat his home club. And the 1-2 pitch, Ethier swings, whacks it to right. Mike Stanton, a diving try, awkwardly misses the ball, and Ethier will jog into second base with a double. For Mike Stanton, another local boy, so far just about everything he's tried to do in this series has turned to mud. That sinking line drive, he came head on to try and grab it, lunged to backhand the ball, and came up empty. So a 2-out double by Andre Ethier will bring up Matt Kemp. So Stanton, who did have one ball hit where he was robbed by Andre Ethier, now trying to return the favor and rob Ethier, and he was unable to do it. So Matt Kemp hitting cleanup, trying to do just that here in the first inning with Ethier at second, 2 out, no score. Nolasco looks down the barrel to get a sign. Matt waits, and right-handed to right-handed, Nolasco deals fastball on the inside corner for a strike. Nolasco versus Kemp. Kemp is 1 for 5. That one hit was a home run. Kemp with 12 home runs, tied for second in the league. Nolasco from a stretch. Matt with 35 runs batted in. And Nolasco deals another fastball in there. 0-2 the count to Matt Kemp. Matt trying to think over the pitches, and as we mentioned, Nolasco brings a lot to the dance. And Andre Ethier at second base with 2 out. Nolasco from a stretch, sets at the belt, looks at Ethier, double checks him. Now comes back to Kemp in the dirt. Nice backhand save by John Buck. So you've heard of passing the buck, but not as long as he has that catcher's mitt. That was a fine defensive play by Big John. So 1-2 the count to Matt Kemp. No score, bottom of the first inning. Kershaw made only 13 pitches, struck out 2. So far, 20 pitches from Ricky Nolasco, who's out of a stretch. Another look back at Ethier. Now he comes to Kemp, and that one's in the dirt. Chest blocked by Buck, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. When you talk about a local boy coming from Southern California like Ricky, and I'm sure throughout the country they'd say, well, he probably loves to surf, but he's not that way at all. He likes to go 4-wheeling in the desert near his home in Rialto. Usually get some friends, sleep in a tent or in the back of a truck. There's maybe a 40 square mile area of sand dunes and sand bowls, and that's where he loves to frolic. So Ricky out of his stretch now, and another look at Ethier. The 2-2 pitch to Matt Kemp is swung on and missed, and down he goes. So each pitcher strikes out 2. Nolasco had to work harder. He walks off, leaving Ethier at second, and at the end of an inning, no score. Sanchez, then Mike Stanton and John Buck. Each side seeing the starting pitcher strike out 2. Nolasco made 22 pitches. Kershaw ready, and here he comes, and a fastball in for a strike. Gabby Sanchez, 7 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Last night he had 2 doubles and a walk, scored twice. Strike 1 pitch on the way is a little high, 1-1. Gabby in the first game grounded into 2 double plays and had a base hit. If he does anything but ground into those 2, they might have won the first game. The 1-1 pitch. Gabby swings, lifts a high foul ball off third. Blake coming over, but that's going to be well back into the crowd. That'll give us a moment to tell you that in Milwaukee, they say that San Francisco Giants catcher Buster Posey had surgery today to repair torn ligaments in his ankle, sustained in that collision with Scott Cousins in San Francisco Wednesday night. He also suffered a broken bone in his left leg. So he figures to be out for the year. 2-2 the count now to Gabby Sanchez. I've also heard a veteran catcher say that Posey made a terrible mistake. The 2-2 pitch, check swing. They're going to look, swing, says first base umpire Jim Wolf. And down goes Sanchez. 3 strikeouts now for Clayton Kershaw. The word I heard about Posey's mistake is that he went down on his knee to block the plate. And the veteran catcher said that's the worst thing you can do because you are totally vulnerable if you're on your knee. And of course that's what happened. Here's Standen, and he takes a strike, and the count 0-1. You also have far more maneuverability if you're up on your feet. You can make the runner go one way or another. Roy Campanella was very, very good in getting away from the runner and tagging him. The pitch is a little high, 1 ball, 1 strike. I remember as we see Scott Cousins sitting quietly in the dugout, the boy who had that unfortunate collision with Buster Posey. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Ground ball to the lefter for call. He's on it, throws over to first in time, and we have 2 down here in the second inning. I will always remember a World Series game between the Dodgers and the Yankees, and Billy Martin, admittedly he was not some big 200-pounder, but Martin was coming to the plate not only to score, but he's going to, players do, he was going to level the catcher and make him drop the ball. Campanella, like a matador avoiding a bull, just stepped aside and he hit Martin right on top of the head for the tag. Here's the pitch now, swung on and missed by John Buck. And Martin, who is not known for being cool, not known for keeping his temperature in check, he just went wild. And Campanella just kind of shrugged. Then there's the other kind of a catcher like John Roseboro when he was here for years. 0-1 the count to John Buck. Fastball inside, 1-1. Roseboro was remarkable. He would never go to his knees, but he would go into a crouch. And if you tried to muscle over him, he would go lower and then stand up. And he would flip the runner over his head. The 1-1 pitch fouled away. 1-2. There were several times that we saw John Roseboro flip a runner completely head over heels and land on his back and home. Rather remarkable. But for young Buster, his biggest problem was, first of all, he was down on the knee. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way, a little low. 2-2 to the catcher, John Buck. John's been doing a good job with the pitchers, not hitting much, 217, but he does have 5 home runs, 19 runs batted in, and he swings at a pitch in the dirt. Picked up by Navarro, plenty of time to throw him out. 4 strikeouts now for Clayton Kershaw. He's retired 6 in a row, and at the end of an inning and a half, no score. Ramirez, who popped up in the first inning, and Ramirez has to sit down after swinging and lifting one. First, he looks like he fouled one off his foot, and maybe that's really what happened. Then he popped up. So Ramirez gives way. Wes Helms takes over at third base, and there's a broken bat dunker towards center. Coughlin comes up to make the catch, and Jerry Sands is out. So Sands, a broken bat fly ball, one away. Wes Helms taking over at third, and Emilio Bonifacio, who started at third, moves over to short to play for Hanley Ramirez. So we have one away in the second inning, and Jay Gibbons coming up. Of course, the Marlins trying to catch Philadelphia, and they'll get their ace back in a week. They pitch low, ball one, and we mean ace, one of the best pitchers in baseball when he's healthy, big Josh Johnson. Johnson's been out on the DL with a sore shoulder, but he'll be back on the 7th pitching against Atlanta. There's a line drive base hit into right field from Jay Gibbons. The Gibbons, a one-out single to right, and the batter will be on Navarro. Navarro is in there for two reasons. Certainly to give Rod Barajas a rest. Also, his numbers against Nolasco, not bad at all. He's 2 for 4 with a home run. So the switch hitting catcher will check in and bat left-handed with Jamie Carroll on deck. We were talking a minute ago about Josh Johnson, who is the top pitcher for the Marlins. The pitch to Navarro is taken for a strike, 0-1. Josh Johnson recovered from Tommy John surgery, and he was the second pitcher ever to allow no more than one run in 8 consecutive starts. Who was the other pitcher? Bob Gibson. So they have missed Johnson, but he's coming back, and they'll be stronger. Now the strike one pitch coming up to Deanna Navarro is taken low, 1-1. By the way, in talking about the Marlins trying to catch Philadelphia, the Phillies lost to the troubled New York Mets 9-5 today. So for Eddie Rodriguez and his young fish, they have a chance to swim closer. It'd be one game back if they can beat the Dodgers today. The 1-1 pitch coming up, and Navarro takes high and away, ball 2-1 the count. Rihanna will look down to Tim Wallach to see if they're going to put a play on. You have Jamie Carroll on deck. 2-1, certainly a good time to play hit and run, and we'll see. Nolasco is set. No action from Gibbons, and there's a soft line drive to Wes Helms. The line drive only describing the trajectory. It was not hit hard at all. So 2 down, and Jamie Carroll coming up. Well, we told you that Philadelphia lost 9-5 to the Mets. The amazing Arizona Diamondbacks are leading Houston 3-2 in the 8th. Xavier Nady doubled in 2 to put the D-backs ahead. They're trying to win 12 out of 13. Arizona Diamondbacks. The Cardinals are beating Colorado 4-1 in the 6th inning. Jay and Rasmus have homered against Ulysses Chassin. The first pitch to Carroll is off the plate, ball 1. And Milwaukee is giving the Giants a bad time again. First, the Marlins swept the Giants in San Francisco when San Francisco lost Posey. Now the Giants, who have won 6 out of 10, but they're break even on the road, they're losing in Milwaukee 6-0 in the 9th inning. The pitch in there for a strike to Carroll. Giovanni Gallardo has a 4-hit shutout for 8 at Milwaukee. Matt Cain gave up 5 runs in 6 innings. So the Giants are in trouble, and that's why the Dodgers still feel pretty optimistic. They still think those teams in front will come back to them. We'll see. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jamie Carroll. Nolasco's next one on the inside corner for a strike, and the count 1-2. No score, bottom of the 2nd inning. Dodgers in 4th place, 6-pack of San Francisco, trying to win today and split the 6 for the year with Florida and then await Colorado. Rockies have certainly been rocky. They've lost 7 of the last 10. 1-2 pitch on the way, off the plate outside, 2-2 the count. So Ricky Nolasco, the local boy from Rialto, coming back, as we said, probably has a good 100 people here. He's had 8 quality starts this year. That puts him right up number 2 in the league. Here's his 2-2 pitch on the way to Jamie Carroll. Right-hander ready, deals, and it's slapped foul off to the right, out of play. Nolasco has struck out a few on the minimum. He has struck out 16 hitters this year on 3 pitches. In direct contrast was the battle he had with Casey Blake, whom he struck out, but it took 12 pitches to get him. Ricky 4-0, and they actually lost 2 games he might have won except for the bullpen. There goes the hit and run foul ball, so they will send Gibbons back to first. Another interesting thing about Nolasco, the fact that the bottom of the lineup of various teams have given him a bad time. The 7 through 9 hitters in the league are batting .323 against him. Ricky Nolasco. He had 2 games he should have won, and the bullpen slipped it away, or the game became tied and he was no longer involved. Right-hander ready in the 2-2 pitch, and Carroll punches it on the ground to the right side, and Fonte is there, and that's that. No runs, 1 hit, a man left, and at the end of 2 under blue skies, no score. There's another dream or 2 prospering in seats right by the rail. 2 young boys talking about their dreams. You can bet probably one's pitching and the other's hitting. So to the 3rd we go. No score. Omar Infante, who normally doesn't hang around much, not necessarily a first ball hitter, but he rarely goes deep in the count. Kershaw delivers a strike, and the count 0-1. Omar Infante from Puerto La Cruz in Venezuela. No balls and 1 strike. Kershaw ready. Clayton comes back, and it's promptly hit in the air to left center on his Horace's Sands, but it's going to drop. So 2 pitches, and that's normally Infante. He's not about to wait for the paint to dry. and he singles to left center. And the batter will be Bonifacio. We were checking the videotape to see what happened, and we showed you a little while ago about the foul ball. But then the next pitch, when Ramirez swings and pops it up, he tries to leave home plate and he can barely move. The back just stiffened up on him. And of course, playing shortstop, or for that matter any position in the big leagues, no way to go. So Ramirez is out. Here is Bonifacio, started at third, playing short. Emilio takes high and outside, ball one. Or let's check now and make it a strike. Ron Culpa is the plate umpire. Bonifacio appeared as a pinch hitter last night and struck out. Appeared as a pinch hitter in game one and struck out. He's hitting .271 and shatters his bat. It's picked up as the ball by Kershaw, and they get a force play. Boy, the wicked end of that bat started in the direction of Casey Blake, who was moving to his left, and Kershaw was able to make the play. So a force play, and that'll bring up Ricky Nolasco. You know, tomorrow is Memorial Day. Enjoy the long-standing tradition of hot dogs at Dodger Stadium with Dollar Dodger Dog Day, presented by our good pals at Farmer John. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/promotions or call 866-DODGERS. Third inning, Bonifacio with a broken bat is at first, one out. Ricky Nolasco at the plate. Dodgers looking bunt from Nolasco, who has sacrificed 5 times this year. Quick throw to first, no play there. If you are playing against Clayton Kershaw, you really have to be careful because he does a tremendous job of holding runners on. Clayton out of a stretch. Nolasco shows bunt, drops it up along first base. It'll be picked up there by Sands, who makes the tag. And on the sacrifice, Bonifacio goes to second base. A half a dozen sacrifices now for Ricky Nolasco. So he does his job. And now Chris Coghlan, who struck out in the first inning, coming up. In Kershaw's career, to conclude the thoughts about how tough he is on base runners, the runners have attempted only 36 stolen bases. 17 have been caught. That's a 47% rate, which is very high. Clayton ready and delivers, and the fastball is low, ball one. Kershaw also very effective in pickoffs. In his career, he's picked off 18, and over that entire run, he's only allowed 19 stolen bases. So you might be able to get on, but you really have to be careful against Clayton Kershaw. 1 ball and no strikes. The pitch to Coghlan, that's low and inside. 2-0 the count. Wes Helms is on deck. Wes Helms had the big hit last night. I guess you could call it a grazing double over first base to drive in 2 and change it from 3-1 to 5-1. 2-0 the count to Coghlan. Kershaw ready. Fastball is outside. Ball 3 to Chris. 3-2. So Kershaw trying to get some strikes against the Rookie of the Year from 2 years ago. Chris Coghlan's father was a police officer in Maryland for nearly 20 years. He takes a strike. His dad was seriously injured during a SWAT team raid, and late in the 90s, going to a law enforcement teacher, his dad was killed in a head-on collision. So Coghlan knows the ups and the downs of the early years of his life. He takes another strike, and they count 3-2. He's only 25. He'll be 26 the middle of June. Went to school at the University of Mississippi. Chris Coghlan trying to pick up Bonifacio at second base. 2 out in the third, no score. Kershaw ready. Here he comes, and it's fouled off. No runs, 1 hit. That would be that single by Infante, a little fly ball that dropped into left center. The Dodgers no runs, 2 hits, a 2-out double by Ethier, and a 1-out single by Gibbons. Kershaw, another look back at Bonifacio as a cautious lead. And the next one is swung on and missed, and down goes Coghlan. So that would be 5 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw. No runs to hit, a man left. At the end of 2.5, no score. Certainly the game is living up to what you would expect. Ricky Nolasco versus Clayton Kershaw, a pitching duel. Nolasco now going face to face with Kershaw. Ricky ready and delivers high and away, ball 1. We can also tell you the Brewers shut out the Giants 6-0. They beat Matt Cain. Giovanni Gallardo picked up the victory. Boy, what a homestand for the Brewers. The pitch away, ball 2. Milwaukee wrapped up the homestand going 8-1. And for the Brewers, they're on the heels of the Cardinals. They were 2.5 back at the start of the game. And there's ball 3 to Kershaw. So Nolasco on the edge of giving up a walk to the opposing pitcher. 3-0 to count. Ricky ready. Here he comes. Finds the mark for a strike. And the count 3-1. No score in the 3rd inning. Nolasco comes back with another strike. And the count runs 3-2. Kershaw, then for Call and Blake. We're in the 3rd, no score. Nolasco turns very easy. Then comes back and is promptly banged over the head of shortstop Bonifacio into left center for a base hit. So Clayton Kershaw comes up with his 5th hit, all singles. But the first thing to note about Kershaw, he's had about 25 plate appearances and he's only struck out 3 times. So any pitcher who can make contact most of the time is dangerous, and Clayton stings one for a base hit. Now Rafael Furcal, Casey Blake, and Andre Ethier. Furcal grounded out in the 1st inning. This is the kind of a spot where Furcal, when he is sharp, when he's really ready, might do that running bunt that he does so well. Nolasco set at the belt, looks at Kershaw. They're not holding him on, and the pitch outside, ball 1. Rafael hitting 151. It's tough enough to play yourself back from coming off the DL, but it's extremely difficult, almost impossible, to play your way back in the big leagues. which is what he's trying to do. He's 3 for 26 since coming back. Swings and drives one to right and deep. Going back is Stanton. It's over his head and over the bullpen gate for a home run. I tell you, one fellow who was really fooled on that, and it was Mike Stanton. So a single by Kershaw and a home run by Rafael Furcal. Stanton broke like he had a play to his left. And after racing to his left, suddenly he realized the ball was hit harder than he thought. Then he tried to get back, and the ball just cleared the bullpen gate. And the Dodgers jump out to a 2-0 lead. Stanton running, then turns, goes back. It's over his head. He thought it might come off the fence, and it went into the pen. So the home run by Rafael Furcal. That's got to make him feel a lot better. For Nolasco, he is victim of a lot of home runs. He has now given up 8. Ocho. Meanwhile, Blake a fly ball to left field, and Logan Morrison makes the catch for the first out.
For the Dodgers, right fielder, number 16.
So one away, 2-0 in favor of the Dodgers, and Andre Ethier coming up. Nolasco and the Marlins down 2-0. The last time Rafael Furcal hit a home run was July 30th last year against Tim Lincecum and the Giants. So here's Ethier, who doubled to right. That was that diving try by Stanton, and the ball got away. Andre fouls it off, and the count 0-1. Ethier hitting .373 against the Marlins and hitting .370 or better against right-hand pitching. So Andre back up and waiting. Nolasco's strike one pitch is fouled back, and the count 0-2. With his double against Nolasco in the first inning, Andre is 4 for 8 against the right-hander, with Matt Kemp on deck. Dodgers 2, Marlins nothing, bottom of the third. Nolasco holding the ball at the belt, just turns on the rubber, and the right-hander comes back, and that's promptly whacked into right field. An 0-2 pitch, and Andre just went down to get it. So a single to right will bring up Matt Kemp, and Ethier is 2 for 2. You know, a reminder, Don Mattingly bobblehead night is Wednesday, the Dodgers and the Rockies. Compliments of Carl's Jr. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions or call 866-DODGERS. I certainly don't have any numbers on it, but this reminds me of a year. I think we've seen more base hits on a no-ball, two-strike count than we've seen in many years. Nolasco said, looks back at Ethier, works Kemp, hard ground ball through the hole into left field, base hit. Stopping at second is Ethier, and the batter will be Jerry Sands. So Kershaw singled, Furcal homers, and after Blake flies out, back-to-back singles by Ethier and Kemp. So it is 2-0 Dodgers on a half a dozen hits. And Jerry Sands, who flied to center in the second inning, coming up. Dodgers 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors. Marlins no runs, 1 hit through 3 innings against Kershaw. What a surprising day it has turned out to be. As Nolasco delivers, Sands first ball swinging, pops it up right side. Going out but fighting the sun and making the catch is Infante. The umpires had to wait because of the glare of the sky. Remember, part of the rule of the infield fly rule, a reasonable expectancy to catch the ball. And when Infante left the infield, it doesn't look like he's wearing sunglasses, but I thought I saw them coming down. But he was fighting it and finally made the play. And now we see he has different sunglasses. He does not have the spring type where you just press the side and they automatically come down. He just has himself a pair of sunglasses. So here now is Jay Gibbons, and he takes slow freight for a strike, and the count 0-1. 2-0 Dodgers here in the third inning. 4 hits, and the big blow, the home run by Rafael Furcal. Nolasco again out of his stretch, a check of the runners. The strike one pitch on the way. Ricky delivers. That swung on and missed. 0-2. They were asking Ricky before the game about the fact he's going to have maybe 100 people here, relatives and friends, and he was saying they're all big Dodger fans, so I'm not really sure they'll be rooting for me or not. Well, he's down 2-0 here in the third inning. Ricky hands it aside, checking signs with John Buck. Ethier at second, Kemp at first with 2 out. And the strike 2 pitch to Gibbons, popped in the air to shallow left field. Trouble in River City. It'll drop. Here comes Ethier to the plate. The throw is late, and that allows Kemp to go to third. And the Dodgers lead 3-0 as Gibbons really just put the bat on the ball and looped it into left field. So Jay comes up with his second hit and a run batted in for good measure. So the Dodgers, with 7 hits, have scored 3 times on 5 hits, including the home run by Furcal. So now Leona Navarro is the batter, and Navarro a soft line drive to third base in the second inning. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. And by the way, the count on Jay Gibbons when he got that base hit, no balls and 2 strikes. It's just been a remarkable first 2 months for base hits. 0-2. Here's Nolasco ready and delivers, and the pitch off the plate, ball 1. In the old days, a manager would really get ticked off if there was any kind of a trend of 0-2 base hits given up. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Matt Kemp down the line from third. Jay Gibbons away from first. Nolasco's 1-0 pitch on the way. Swung on, a hopper by the diving Bonifacio. In comes Kemp. Stopping at second is Gibbons. And the Dodgers now lead 4-0. So Nolasco is about ready to be ridden out on his shield after all these hits. Dodgers 4 runs, 8 hits. Randy St. Clair gone out to find out what's wrong. The last game that Ricky Nolasco pitched was a gem against the Giants, but not today. As they talked to Ricky, and looking at that game against San Francisco, he was just dynamite. He went 8 1/3. He allowed just 1 earned run while striking out 5. But here he is today, being lathered by a club that has had so much trouble getting base hits and scoring runs. 4 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers in 2 2/3 innings. And here's the 9th man to come to the plate, and that's Jamie Carroll. With Gibbons and Navarro out on the lines, Nolasco ready and delivers and cuts it in there for a strike, in the count 0-1. When the Marlins come up in the 4th inning, they'll have Wes Helms, Logan Morrison, and Gabby Sanchez. 0-1 the count. Nolasco with that perfect 4-0 record comes back strike 1 and gets it in there. So he has the count 0-2. So in the inning, Kershaw single to center. Furcal hit one into the visiting bullpen for a home run. After Blake flied out, he had singles from Ethier and Kemp. Sands popped up, but Gibbons and Navarro have each singled, and the Dodgers have scored 4. Now the strike 2 pitch on the way to Jamie Carroll, swung on and missed, and down he goes. But the Dodgers, who averaged less than 3 runs a game in the month of May, score 4 and lead 4-0. participating restaurants and by your Southern California Ford dealers. Visit us today and trade up to Ford. Dodgers lead the Marlins 4-0. Rafael Furcal certainly lit the fire. Whoops, better not say that after last night. He hit a 2-run, and the Dodgers add 2 more and lead 4-0. Arizona wins, San Francisco loses, and Arizona goes into first place. All they had to do to get there, win 12 out of 13, and that's what they did. They scored 3 in the 8th inning and move over into first. Here's Wes Helms, takes a strike. Wes 0 for 1. Came off the bench last night, actually replacing Ramirez, who was 0 for 1. Wes fouls it back, 0-2. Helms, quite a while ago, enrolled in a kickboxing class to improve conditioning. He has a green belt. Wes, a big fella, 6'4", 230. And from what we understand, quite a cook. 2-2. Which reminds us, Mr. and Mrs. Jeffrey Loria are traveling with the Marlins. And Julie Loria has come out with a book called Diamond Dishes. That's strike 3 called, so down goes Helms. Diamond Dishes are from the kitchens of baseball's biggest stars.
Left fielder, number 20.
Among those featured in the book, of about 20 stars, is Andre Ethier. And it shows Andre in the kitchen. He's quite into food anyway. Well, an interesting idea and a very attractive book. One away. Here's Logan Marr. And ball 1. All Kershaw has done is strike out a half a dozen in 3 1/3. So another way, he's gotten 10 outs, 6 by strikeout. Fly ball to left field, appears playable. Gibbons fighting the glare, makes the play. 2 down. The Marlins have 1 hit. That was a little fly ball single by Infante back in the 3rd inning. Gabby Sanchez struck out in the 2nd inning. Gabby hitting .316, 7 home runs, 31 runs batted in, way ahead of last year. Takes ball 1. Gabby has been a big RBI man for Florida, especially in the month of May. Ball 2. They have Anibal Sanchez. They have Gabby Sanchez. They have Brian Sanchez. The only difference, Brian ends his name with an S. The other 2 with Z's. 3-0 to count to Gabby. And low, ball 4. So a 2-out walk to Sanchez will bring up Mike Stanton.
Number 27, Mike Stanton.
Now you can imagine the disappointment amongst the 100 or so friends and relatives of Ricky Nolasco. And for Mike Stanton playing every day, I'm sure he's had a lot of friends and relatives, and he's been struggling. In this series, he is 0 for 7 and struck out 3 times. He was red hot for 2 weeks coming in. And ball 1. When Arizona beat Houston 4-2, they spoiled J.A. Happ's strong start and his home run. Xavier Nady had the big one, a 2-run double in the 8th inning to keep Arizona blazing hot. 1-0. Fouled away. Looking at the schedule to see the next time the Dodgers will meet Arizona, and it's not going to be until July. That will be right after the All-Star break. One ball, one strike. 1-2 to Mike. Stanton, impressive looking fella, 6'5", maybe 250. SC wanted him as a baseball and a football player. They thought he would make either a wide receiver and or a defensive back. They were going to give him a free ride in baseball and then walk on in football, but he opted for baseball, and here he is. 1-2. 2 out, 4th inning, 4-0 Dodgers. And for Stanton, he now is 0 for 8 with 4 strikeouts before the home folks. So maybe trying too hard, understandably. And at the end of 3.5, Dodgers 4, Florida nothing. By El Pollo Loco. Try our delicious Baja-style fish tacos with classic Baja or spicy avocado sauce. Only at El Pollo Loco. By Corona. And by Time Warner Cable. Bottom of the 4th inning. On a glorious Sunday afternoon, the Dodgers lead Florida 4-0. Hard to believe at noon, a little more than 2 hours ago, the sky was black and threatening. The clouds were swollen with water. You expected rain, and then slowly and surely they disappeared, and it is just gorgeous, albeit on the cool side. The breeze has picked up, looking at the flags out there in center, and in listening to weather, wind figures to be a part of Southern California today. Kershaw grounding it right on through into right field. So Clayton is 2 for 2 as he singles to right, and for 9th hit he's allowed through 3 innings plus. Rafael Furcal came up in the 3rd inning. He was 0 for 1, and he hit one over the bullpen gate and into the pen for his first home run. And the Dodgers, with Kershaw aboard, led 2-0. But they weren't finished. They had 4 more hits for 2 more runs, and they lead 4-0. Rafael 1 for 2. Kershaw at first. Slow breaking ball, but it missed. Ball 1. 4 runs, 9 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 1 hit for the Marlins. Nolasco, who has given up 8 home runs this year. And there goes Kershaw, and that's a hit-and-run single into right field. So Clayton keeps on going to third. And now when the ball goes to third, Furcal goes into second. And the Marlins are like a fish out of water on that play. And the Dodgers have runners at second and third. So Furcal, a hit-and-run single to right field. Kershaw was going to make it easily, and when the throw from Stanton went all the way, Furcal, with second base wide open, just moved on up and got in there before second baseman Infante could get back. The good base running, not a very sharp play defensively for the Marlins, and the Dodgers second and third, nobody out. Blake, Ethier, and Kemp coming up. They're going to give Mike Stanton an error on that throw that went all the way through to third base. Since it was hit and run, there was no chance to get Kershaw. And a strike. Of course, Stanton, with all of his ability, and then he comes in here red hot and cools off. That would be his second error of the series. And then when it's all said and done, you look closely and you say, wait a minute, he's 21 years old. So he's going to find himself in some problems. Meanwhile, the plate umpire, Ron Copa, is hollering over at the Dodger dugout, maybe at Mattingly. 0-1 the count to Casey Blake. Infield halfway, the corners are up, if they might have a play at the plate, and the breeze blowing out to right field. 0-1. Off the plate. I know the weathermen, they were talking about wind in the mountains and canyons at like 45, gusting to 60. Then they were talking about wind at the beaches, possible sandstorm, and gusts up to 40 to 45. Well, we have a pretty strong breeze now that has finally arrived here at Dodger Stadium. One and one the count to Casey Blake. Fouled off, 1-2. Dodgers 4 runs, 10 hits and no errors. Marlins no runs, 1 hit, 1 error. Casey has struck out and flied out. Clayton Kershaw is 2 for 2, and Rafael Furcal is 2 for 3 with a home run. Two and two the count. Boy, that breeze has really picked up. What was it, Sylvia Kay, the brilliant songwriter, the wife of the great Danny Kaye, wrote about an oboe, saying it was an ill wind that no one blows good. Well, with a wind like this, somebody's going to take advantage of it. 2-2. Little squirt foul off to the right. So Blake is back at it again. He had a 12 pitch at bat in the first inning. 2-2 to Casey. So what looked like on paper a brilliant pitching duel between Clayton Kershaw and Ricky Nolasco, for the moment at least, very much one-sided. 2-2. And down he goes. So Blake strikes out a second time. 1 out, first base open, and Andre Ethier, who is 2 for 2, will see if they pitch to him. Ethier wearing out all the right-handers. came into the game hitting .370, and he's doubled in singles. So John Buck going out to talk to Nolasco. Andre is now hitting .323, so he'll move up a notch or two in the National League. He was 7th. And they're going to walk him intentionally, would certainly appear to make a lot of sense, even though it's the old horns of the dilemma. You avoid one and you get the other. And Matt Kemp will be coming up with the bases loaded and 1 out. On paper, of course, it's a perfect move. Ethier 5 for 9 against Nolasco, and Kemp, although 1 for 2, would be 2 for 7 in the past. Of course, Matt does have a home run against Nolasco, so we'll see. But Ricky's in trouble, trying to keep the game still in bounds. And in a moment, here's ball 4 to Andre. So the bases are loaded. 1
Now
out.
batting center fielder,
And here
number
is Matt
27,
Kemp.
Matt Kemp.
Matt struck out in the first inning, single left in the third. Kemp in his career has 5 grand slams. The last one he hit was in September the 29th last year in Colorado against Ulysses Chassin. The standing room only out there. Kershaw, Furcal, and Ethier. Strike. 1 out. Dodgers trying to break the game wide open. Boy from Rialto, Ricky Nolasco, certainly on the spot here. Fastball inside corner. 0-2. So Nolasco making a couple of tough pitches to Kemp, who's right on top of the plate, and that was in there. 0-2. Little ground ball to third. Helms to the bag. Fires over to first. They get the double play, and Nolasco is out of the mess. So he gives up 2 hits and a walk, but the double play bails him out. And at the end of 4, Dodgers 4, Florida 0. more than the wind has come up when Matt Kemp grounded into the double play. As he walked off the field, he was obviously upset over, I believe, the second pitch that was called a strike, and Matt thought it was inside. Although he was hollering almost at third base to home plate, Ron Copa, the plate umpire, kicked him out. And then Matt went a little bit ballistic and had to be restrained from charging back out onto the field. Then for Don Mattingly, he went out to appeal and argue with Ron Copa, and Don has been kicked out. So Kemp, a fiery brand player anyway, all you had to do is remember that game-winning base hit by Diona Navarro Friday night, and how Matt Kemp couldn't wait to wrestle him and get some energy out. And that's the throw for Don Mattingly. So for the Dodgers, Tony Gwynn will take over in center field, and the Dodgers lose their center fielder and their manager. Ron Copa, with over 12 years in the big leagues, he worked the semifinals of the 2009 World Baseball Classic here. He's from St. Louis, lives in Missouri, and he played college ball and eventually became a big leaguer. So Ron Copa, who could easily have that nickname of Mea Culpa through his no fault, kicks out both Kemp and Mattingly, and we go to the fifth inning. Trey Hillman, the bench coach, will now take over, and of course Trey's been a former manager in his own right. John Buck at the plate, struck out in the second inning. The strike one pitch popped in the air up into that tricky wind. Jerry Sands fighting the wind and the glare and makes the play. There's Tony Gwynn out there in center field replacing Matt Kemp. In checking, the press box informs us that is the second career ejection for Matt Kemp. So he's not that volatile until today. Shot speared by Kershaw, who lobs it to first. Infante not hanging around. He hit the first pitch for a base hit in the third. This time he hits the first pitch back to Kershaw. So we have two down in the fifth inning. Remember, Kershaw's allowed just one hit. Little fly ball single by Infante. Here's Bonifacio. Started the game at third, moved over to short when Hanley Ramirez back tightened up on him. He backs off and takes the strike. 0-1. Bonifacio hitting .269. Slow breaking ball in there. Boy, I'll tell you what, Clayton's brought a lot to the dance today. He has struck out 7, and he's 2 for 2 at the bat. Bonifacio likes to bunt, but now with 2 strikes. Fouled away. Emilio has 7 infield singles so far this year, plus 3 bunt singles. He can run in the low minors. He stole as many as 61 bases. In the big leagues, 21. Got him. And that is strikeout number 8 for Clayton Kershaw. Fish go down 1, 2, 3, and at the end of 4.5, 7 pitches for Clayton, 4-0 Dodgers. on a show. In 5 innings, he has struck out 8. He has walked 1. He has given up 1 hit, and that was just a fly ball. And with the bat, he is 2 for 2. They couldn't ask much more from that for a pitcher who is breezing along for the moment anyway. Jerry Sands takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Ricky Nolasco is due to lead off in the 6th inning. Though whether this would be his last inning or not remains to be seen. Check swing for a strike. Of course, remember last night, Eddie Rodriguez used his bullpen. He used 5 pitchers, each used sparingly, to get the win. 0-2. 1-2 to Jerry, hitting .220. 2 home runs, 16 runs batted in. Proud possessor not only of his first major league home run, but then his first major league grand slam. Colorado, they'll be here tomorrow, a 5:10 game. So if you can, we would certainly hope you spend part of Memorial Day with us. We're also asking you to please be careful on the weekend for yourselves, your loved ones, and all of the others out there driving. Down goes Jerry, 1 away. So Nolasco picks up the strikeout, and time for us to ask you a trivia question. Hanley Ramirez had to come out of the game when his back stiffened up. He's the only major league batting champ in Florida history. Which 3 Dodgers have won batting titles going all the way back to 1945? 3 Dodgers. Well, we'll give you the answer in a little while. Well, the bottom dropped out of that thing. Great pitch to Gibbons, strike 1. 0-1 to Jay. Single to right and single to left. Promptly singles to right. So Jay Gibbons, who has had so many problems with his eyes, with his contact lenses, etc., is now 3 for 3. And the batter, Deona Navarro. Navarro lined out and singled, 1 for 2. Dodgers 4 runs on 11 hits. Ball 1. No one throwing yet in the Florida bullpen. As we said, they aired out the bullpen last night. Nolasco is due to lead off in the 6th inning. 1 ball and no strikes. Dodgers played hit and run with Kershaw at first base. You don't usually see a team running its pitcher, but it worked. Rafael Furcal single to right field. 1 ball, no strikes in there. 1-1. That's a strike. 1-2. I was thinking that was a long distance toss by plate umpire Ron Copa. He was at least 90 feet, maybe 100 feet away from Matt Kemp when he kicked him out. I believe it was all about that second pitch that was called a strike to Matt. And then, of course, it complicated matters when he hits into a double play. Of course, we've seen some really terrific kickouts, but the best one I think ever, I mean the one I'll never forget, was in the Coliseum. Leo DeRocher was coaching for the Dodgers, and Jocko Conlon was the plate umpire. And Leo disagreed, and Leo liked to kick dirt on home plate. Far better than Lou Piniella. I mean, Leo really knew how to do it. That's going to go just fair down the line into the corner. Stanton in pursuit, and the Dodgers will have runners at second and third with one out. So Navarro, who hit Nolasco in the past, is in there with good numbers against him, and he goes 2 for 3 today. So we have second and third, one out, and Jamie Carroll coming up. Anyway, what Leo wanted to do is kick the dirt on home plate. And when he kicked, his spikes bounced off home plate and hit Jocko Conlon in the shins. Well, Conlon, and he was Irish, he got furious, so he kicked Leo DeRocher in the shins. And then Leo kicked Conlon in the shins, and here were two grown men. They're going to walk Jamie Carroll. So two grown men are standing at home plate, kicking each other in the shins. And then Conlon threw Leo out. Well, the payoff was DeRocher realized when he cooled off, am I crazy? He's kicking me in the shins. I'm kicking him, but he's got shin guards under his pants. And there was Leo, battered, bruised, and kicked out. So for Matt Kemp, it was a long-distance chase, and at least that was that, although they did have to restrain him. But that one was one for the history books. Meanwhile, Carroll walks, the bases are loaded with one out, and here comes Clayton Kershaw, 2 for 2. Kershaw looking for his first run batted in, and he's checking with Tim Wallach with one out. As a bunter, Clayton Kershaw has 2 sacrifices, and you can see Dreifert, Brown, Weaver, and Wolf, 4 LA pitchers to have 3 hit games since 2000. And let's see, the corners are up. Fouled away. So Jay Gibbons at third, Deona Navarro at second, Jamie Carroll at first, Kershaw checking again with Wallach. No balls and 1 strike. Giants lost a tough game last night to Milwaukee on a 9th inning squeeze with the bases loaded. And boy, that breeze has straightened up the flags in center field. 0-1. Oh, and 2. Clayton badly fooled. So with 2 strikes, no thought of a squeeze. 4 runs, 12 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 1 hit for Florida. On deck, Rafael Furcal. And ground ball to the right side. They will get 1, and they will not get 2, and scoring is given. And the Dodgers lead 5-0, and there it is. Clayton Kershaw gets his first run batted in. Rafael Furcal coming up. 5 runs, 12 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 1 hit for the Marlins. 5's in the dugout for Jay Gibbons. And here's Furcal, grounded to third, hit a 2-run home run into the bullpen, and single to right. In the dirt, nice save by John Buck. 1 ball and no strikes. Clayton Kershaw had 2 RBIs in 2009, and he had 1 run batted in last year. So this RBI is his 4th in his young career. First and third, 2 out. A run in, 5-0 Dodgers. Off the plate, ball 2. 2-0. So Nolasco having a huge letdown, I'm sure, with all of his friends and family, and he's down 5-0. And that's going to be hit by the diving Infante. So another run brought in by Navarro. The throw again going to third, and down to second base goes Furcal. And the Dodgers lead 6-0. Rafael Furcal, 3 hits and 3 runs batted in. So the Dodgers finding Ricky Nolasco on very much of an off day. Remember, he came in with a record of 4-0. And for Rafael Furcal, after a slow start, and that was understandable coming off the DL, he has come up with a big day with a home run, 2 singles, 3 runs batted in. They don't want to get to the bullpen. What they do now, I think, Randy St. Clair going out to Ricky and saying, look, you know what happened last night? We used 5 relievers. You're going to have to take one for the club. And look at that, 3 or fewer runs in 8 of his first 10, and he's allowed 6, and he's only in the 6th inning, actually in the bottom of the 5th. He's due to lead off in the 6th. So here's Casey Blake on the outside looking in. And he promptly gets a base hit. 2 more runs will score, and the Dodgers lead 8-0. And Eddie Rodriguez now is standing up on the top step, and they finally get somebody up in the bullpen. So Casey Blake joins the fun with a single to center and 2 runs batted in. And for the Dodgers, the 2 men just off the DL have 5 RBIs today. The Dodgers punishing Nolasco, and Steve Cishek, who came in briefly last night, is up in the Marlins fish tank, as they call the bullpen. So Cishek, big guy at 6'6", getting ready. And here is Andre Ethier. And for Nolasco, no rest for the weary. And Ethier bangs it into right. That's the 15th Dodger hit. Stopping at second is Blake. So this will be a day that Ricky Nolasco will remember for a lifetime. Or then again, spend a lifetime trying to forget. Coming home, the young fella from Rialto, and just does not have it. Dodgers have put 4 up in the 3rd, and again here in the 5th. They lead 8-0. For the Dodgers, 15 hits for the 2nd time this year. And a ground ball to the right side. Infante mercifully makes the out, and that's it. The Dodgers get 4 for the 2nd time in an inning, and at the end of 5, lead 8-0. 31 years ago today, Bob Welch pitched a one-hitter, faced only 27 batters. Larbell Blanks of the Braves got a base hit in the fourth inning. The next batter hit into a double play, and Bob Welch had his one-hitter, beating the Braves 3-0 and knocking off knuckleballer Phil Niekro. And with that, let's go back to this one. Eight to nothing in favor of the Dodgers. Scott Cousins will come up and bat for the beleaguered Ricky Nolasco. 1-1 the count. Cousins appeared as a pinch hitter last night and grounded out. He appeared as a pinch hitter in game one and singled to right. One and two. So for Ricky Nolasco, one of those days. Isn't that life, though? You come here 4-0. You've been a marvelous pitcher. You got at least 100 friends and relatives, and you not only maybe lose, but you just have the worst game maybe you'll pitch all year. 8 runs and 15 hits in 5 innings. For a very good pitcher like Nolasco, that's heartbreaking. But it's also baseball and life. Ricky, by the way, in those 5 innings, made 102 pitches. He made 22 in the very first inning, so it's been a labor of love or whatever all day. Little crack bat. He'll have to get another foul ball. You could hear that thing like a celery stalk.
Right there.
Scott Cousins. The ultimate irony. He lives in the San Francisco area. He went to school at the University of San Francisco, and he might very well have cost San Francisco another championship in that horrific collision, which was clean, legitimate, and hard, with Buster Posey. And as Cousins pinch hits, we told you earlier that today Buster Posey had surgery on the ankle. He already broke a bone as well in his leg. 3-2. And now he fouls one off his foot, so timeout. Scott's 6'2", about 190 pounds. Went to the University of San Francisco. 26 years old, and he got that on the instep of the right foot. Doug Mankiewicz last year was Scott's teammate for only about a week. But Doug, typically of him, tried to help Cousins in his approach against left-hand pitching. He's up there hacking away. Well, that breeze that they predicted has certainly arrived. Three and two. Got it. 9 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw.
Center fielder, number
Remember
8,
the
Chris
trivia
Michael.
question we gave you a little while ago about Hanley Ramirez, the only National League batting champ in Florida's young history? Which 3 Dodgers have won batting titles since '45? Well, Jackie Robinson in '49, Scoonge, as they call him, Carl Furillo in '53, and here Tommy Davis did it twice. Tommy Davis, by the way, such a wonderful hitter. In 1962, Tommy had 153 runs batted in. That's still a Dodger franchise record for RBIs. TD, he was so strong and such a wonderful privilege to watch play. That's right. 0-2. So the Dodgers having a memorable day on the day before Memorial Day, leading 8-0. Fastball got him. So Coghlan strikes out for the third time, and he is not complimenting Ron Culpa. And Culpa watching him walk away.
Third baseman, number 18, Wes Helms.
So Kershaw now has struck out 10. And he's only in the 6th inning. And the batter is Wes Helms. Clayton's high in strikeouts. He had 13. You have to go back to 2009 when he struck out 13 Giants. So the pinch hitters, Cousins strikes out for number 9. Coghlan goes down for number 10. And here's Helms. Clayton is one of those fellows who can certainly say the merry month of May as he works on Wes Helms. 1 ball and 1 strike. A little pop fly up in the breeze for a call, puts it away. Clayton is 3-0 this year in May, 10-3 lifetime. April he's 2-6, June 4-5, but he's leading 8-0. Gibbons reaching across the plate. The pitch is down and obviously out of the strike zone. But for the Dodgers, everything is great. And for the Marlins, everything comes up mud. So Gibbons, with that base hit, he is 3 for 3 today with 1 RBI. So Furcal and Gibbons each have 3 hits. Kershaw has 2 with an RBI. Ethier has 3 hits and an intentional walk. Jerry Sands 0 for 3. Fly to center, popped up, struck out. Steve Cishek made his debut last night. He's a big fella, just called up, 6'6". Right. 0-1. Sands and Carroll are on the outside of the candy store looking in so far. By the way, Scott Cousins is now playing center field. That ball is going to go foul, and the wind would make sure of that. So Sands still there, no balls and 2 strikes. So if you might be keeping score of this little gem, Cousins batting 9th for Nolasco stays in the game, stays 9th. and Steve Cishek goes into Chris Coughlin's leadoff spot, which basically gets him out of the way offensively. All right, Jerry back up and trying it again, playing first base today. Oh and 2 off the plate. 1 and 2. For the Marlins, moving along very well. Remember, they swept the Giants, but they have fallen upon lean times today. 8 runs, 16 hits for the Dodgers, and for Eddie, 1 hit. And that little fly ball single by Omar Infante. Three and 2 the count to Jerry Sands. Marlins are not finished on the road. They've been to San Francisco. They're here, and they're heading for Arizona. And down goes Jerry Sands. 1 away. You know, the Dodgers' ultimate giveaway plan still available for a limited time. 8 games, 10 giveaways, including all 5 remaining bobbleheads, 2 fleece blankets, Dodgers sports bag, a beach towel, and purple and gold LA cap. Starting at $12 a seat per game, all of it. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/mini-plans or give us a call, 323-224-1365. That's a strike. 0-1. One ball and 1 strike. Little nubber, Cishek on it to take care of Gibbons. So Jay goes 3 for 4. Take a look at the Dodger box score. Pretty good day for just everybody but Sands and Carroll. Vercall with 3 hits, including a 2-run home run. Ethier eating up right-handers, 3 for 3. And along with Navarro, who came in because he had a home run and 2 for 4 against Nolasco. He made the numbers hold up. And Kershaw, 2 for 3, 2 singles, and his first RBI of the year, his 4th RBI of his career. Strike. Navarro, soft line drive out to third, then single to center and double. Knocked in 1 and scored 1. Ground ball to the right side, Infante, and that's it. Cishek sets the Dodgers down, and we're heading now for the 7th inning with the Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw leading 8-0. Ticket is brought to you by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates, and by your local Mazda dealers. Seventh inning with the Dodgers leading 8-0 behind Clayton Kershaw. Logan Morrison takes a strike. A couple of things about Ricky Nolasco. Just happened to have one of those bad games. They happen to all of them. But some of the notes about him that we had certainly held up. For instance, of the 15 hits that Nolasco allowed, he was behind in the count to only 6 of the 15 producers of those hits. Pitch fouled away. We told you about those 0-2 hits, which would drive any pitcher up the wall. High drive to left field, going back on the ball and fooled by the wind. And Gibbons has to play it on a bounce, and into second base goes Morrison. Well, we were talking about an ill wind earlier, and that's what happened. That took the legs right out from under that fly ball. And that wind is really a factor now. It is howling. Gibbons going back to the track, turned, and then all of a sudden the wind cut it down. But all you have to do is look at the flags and you can understand what happened to Jay. So a fly ball double indeed for Logan Morrison. 0-1 the count to Gabe Sanchez. Gabby has struck out and walked. Oh, and 1. You can see even the big sisters beginning to bob and weave in the wind. Oh, and 2. Ball 1. One of the notes we had on Ricky Nolasco, give you in a moment. 1-2 the count. Foul back. The note said he's better when the hitter is ahead in the count. When the hitter's ahead of the count, they were hitting only .258. And yet, only 6 of the 15 hits was the hitter behind in the count. One and 2. Fastball away. Clayton hits 94 on the gun, so he's still bringing it. Two and 2. High fly ball. Look out. It's another ride in Disneyland. There goes for call, and he has to drop it. And that's what's happening out there. Any ball hit in the air is an adventure. So Raphael trying to help Jay Gibbons, who had trouble on the double by Morrison. He's gone out to help, and the wind's going to play more tricks. And he will lunge, and it wound up coming back into him as he starts out, and he's going to be charged with an error. So for the Marlins, 2 on, nobody out on wind-blown fly balls. Here's Stanton. Young Mike is 0 for 8. He has struck out 4 times, and he's been charged with a couple of errors. Right. 1-1. It's a rare day indeed when the wind really does tricks here at Dodger Stadium once in a blue moon. 2 on, nobody out. Morrison and Sanchez. That's a strike. 1-2 the count to Mike. We told you that his real first name is Giancarlo. Giancarlo. A shot knocked down at third, picked up to the bag for the out. So Casey fought that thing down, and they get 1 out. So 2 on, 1 away, and John Buck coming up. Runners at first and second. Buck struck out, popped up. The catcher hitting .214. Little ground ball. Backing up is Blake to get 1, and to first. No sign. Wow. The first base umpire, Jim Wolf, was sure not going to hurry his call, and it is a double play. So no runs a hit, and at the end, 6.5, 8-0 in favor of the Dodgers. In the bottom of the 7th inning, Jamie Carroll will lead it off, followed by Clayton Kershaw, and then Rafael Furcal. With the Dodgers scoring 8 today, a team that has averaged under 3 runs a game throughout the month of May, you can understand Chad Billingsley, who will take the mound tomorrow against Jason Hamill in Colorado. If it would be possible, Billingsley would love to put a few runs in escrow until tomorrow, but it just doesn't work that way. Game 1 of 3 with Colorado, just around the corner at 5 o'clock tomorrow. So Billingsley, Lilly, and Garland stacking up against the Rockies. Comebacker, nice play by Steve Six. 1 away. And the batter will be Kershaw. Kershaw, through his 7 innings, has made 91 pitches. Most of the energy expended with base hits, especially in the 4th inning. A little bit of a surprise. He led off with his 2nd single, and he was running as Furcal singled him all the way to 3rd. Last time up, he hit into a force play. 1 away, 7th inning. Rafael Furcal on deck. Did he? Nope, couldn't do it. 0-2 the count. Clayton trying to win his 6th. He's 5-3. Little ground ball to short. Bonifacio makes the play. 2 out, and Rafael Furcal coming up. Rafael, long time between home runs. July last year against Colorado, and then today against Ricky Nolasco back in the 3rd inning when he cleared the bullpen gate in right field. So Furcal with 3 hits. Casey Blake has 1. Rafael has 3 RBIs, and Blake has 2. So the Dodgers getting 5 RBIs atop the heap. Right. Boy, that wind is howling. I'll bet you up in the mountains and canyons, it's doing just what the weatherman said. And probably over on the beaches. They were talking about sandstorms. For Ricky Nolasco and the visiting Florida Marlins, it's been a combination of everything as the Dodgers lead 8-0 on 15 hits. 2-1 to Rafael. Ball 3. Marlins will have Infante, Bonifacio, and Cousins when they come up in the 8th inning. And that'll do it for Rafael and for the Dodgers. So at the end of 7, 8-0 Dodgers.
Warren Spahn.
Well, I'm sure most of you are well aware of Sandy Koufax, and not too many of you are aware of the winningest left-hander, Warren Spahn. Spahny, as they called him, was truly remarkable. And one of the amazing things about Spahn, the late Warren Spahn, I don't believe he ever had a sore arm. And one reason was I don't believe he ever stopped throwing the ball. What Spahn normally did in between starts before a ball game, in those days outfielders took fly balls and threw to the bases, and Spahny would be out there as if he were an outfielder. He'd catch the fungo and then he'd throw to third, throw to second. He just seemed to throw every day, and he was truly blessed. Sandy, as you know, was blessed, but then had the problems with the elbow. He had Raynaud's phenomenon where he lost feeling in the fingers. And now here's young Clayton Kershaw trying to get into their company. Foul ball. The Dodgers leading 8-0 have James Loney now playing first base, and Jerry Sands will go out there in left field and try his luck with that howling wind. And I mean, it's blowing as hard as we have seen it here in gusts. 0-2. Another foul ball. Infante had a fly ball single in the third inning and hit back to the box on the first pitch in the fifth. Omar hitting .249. He has a home run and 17 runs batted in. And he goes the other way down the right field line, foul, and it's still 0-2. Billingsley, Lilly, and Garland lining up against the Rockies, who just lost. The Cardinals beat the Rockies 4-3. Kyle Lohse won his 7th. Got home runs from Jay and Rasmus, and the Rockies will be here tomorrow. For Colorado, they started off having a rare great April, but things have soured of late. They've now lost 8 of the last 11. They're 2 games under 500. So we were saying at the start of the game, not so much the Dodgers rising to the top as much as the top sinking down towards the Dodgers. And that's really what peps them up.
Now batting,
So the Giants
number 1,
lost.
Emilio Bonifazio.
Colorado lost. The Dodgers on their way to winning. And Arizona, that's an incredible story through May anyway. Kirk Gibson has a club that's won 12 of the last 13. Strike. And Arizona goes into first place, climbing over the Giants. Little ground ball to the right side. Good play there. And just like that, the Dodgers with 2 out in the 8th, and Scott Cousins coming up. Don't forget, you can take the Dodgers with you wherever you go this season. Subscribe to MLB.TV today. See every Dodger game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit Dodgers.com to order. Get more details. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. The paid attendance on this blustery day, as Kershaw has now made 100 pitches, 30,621, and the wind swirling so much that things get out of control around home plate. So for a moment, all 3, catcher, umpire, and hitter, back away. Yeah, it has really been blowing. Ground ball hard. Loney at the other end of it. That'll do it for Cousins and for the Fish. And at the end of 7.5, 8-0 Dodgers. freezing, no pun intended, 8-0. Clayton Kershaw has made 101 pitches, had a nice easy 10-pitch 8th inning. He's had a 7-pitch 5th inning. That's been the easy ride. Plus his 2 hits, a run batted in, and leading 8-0. Here's Casey Blake. Right. By the way, one of the keys for Kershaw today, attacking the hitter. 19 of 27 batters, he has gotten the first pitch for a strike. Ground ball to the hole by the diving Bonifacio. And so Casey Blake comes up with his second hit. So he goes 2 for 5. So for the Dodgers, that's pretty encouraging. The top 2 hitters now have 5 hits and 5 RBIs between them. Returning off the DL for Call and Davis. Now Ethier with Tony Gwynn on deck. That, by the way, the hit off Cishek becomes the 16th Dodger hit. That's their high for the year. 16 hits. Ball 1 to Andre Ethier, who has 2 singles and a double. He also walked. Ethier picking up more points now against right-hand pitching. Remember, he came into the game hitting .370 against right-handers and .371, I believe it was, against the Marlins. You get the feeling if Ethier connects, he could hit one over the pavilion roof today. Because of the wind, it would not be that much of a surprise. It has really been blowing out to right. In there. 3-1. He would then join the wonderful Wilver Stargell, clearing the right field pavilion. Off the plate, so no chance. So first and second, nobody out. Tony Gwynn had to take over in center field after Matt Kemp was kicked out of the game for only the 2nd time in his young career. So Gwynn with Sands on deck. Dodgers trying to add to the 8-0 lead. Nolasco and Cishek. Nolasco went 5 and was charged with 8 runs and 15 hits. And the trees are bobbing and weaving out there. One ball and no strikes. Dodgers, with all of their base hits, they've had 1 home run that was hit by Rafael Furcal. Navarro a double, Ethier a double. One and 0. And ball 2. Down in the bullpen, Burke Badenhop, who appeared in last night's game, like Cishek, begins to tune up. In there. The Marlins used 4 pitchers, 3 out of the pen the first game, Choate, Webb, and Hensley. Then all 5 pitchers were out of the pen last night. So they've used the bullpen for 8. And now Cishek is the 9th pitcher coming out of the bullpen. And he can't make a play, and the bases are loaded. So let's face it, the Dodgers are having one of those days. Everything they do is magical. And they've loaded the bases, and Jerry Sands coming up.
47, Jerry Sands.
For the Dodgers, 8 runs on 17 hits. And the Marlins, no runs, 2 hits. Jerry Sands had that grand slam home run on the recent road trip. Up there right now looking for his first hit of the day. He's 0 for 4, has struck out twice, and a strike. 0-1. On deck, James Loney. Almost hit him. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Jerry hanging in there against a big drink of water coming by way of third base. Blake, Ethier, and Gwynn are all out on the lines. And nobody out. 1-1. 1-2. Blake singled, Ethier walked, Gwynn a squib single, and a 1-2 count to Jerry Sands. Punch down to first, Sanchez to the plate, the throw nowhere else. So Sands a force play as Blake is cut down at the plate, 3-2, and everybody else moves up 90 feet. And that'll bring up James Loney.
James Loney.
Loney did not start against Ricky Nolasco. Last night, Loney was 1 for 4. He's hitting .239, 2 home runs, 15 runs batted in. In the 9th inning, the pitcher spot occupied by Cishek, then Helms and Morrison. So bases loaded, 1 out, 8-0 Dodgers. In there, 0-1. James with 15 runs batted in. One and one. Chad Billingsley and Jason Hamill tomorrow at 5:10. And then the regular time, Tuesday and Wednesday, 7:10. Lilly and Mortensen, Garland and Jimenez. 2-1 the count now to James Loney. And that's hit in the air to right field. Here comes Mike to make the catch. Tagging and holding, and a good throw. So Ethier holding at third. Bases remain loaded with 2 out as Stanton made a good play. And the batter now will be Deanna Navarro. Navarro, soft line drive out to third, single to center, double to right, and grounded out. Navarro figured to start for 2 reasons today. One, of course, to give Rod Barajas a rest, and the other, the fact he had been pretty successful. He was 2 for 4 with a home run against Nolasco. And today the numbers held up. He went 2 for 3 against Ricky. Ball 1. Two and 0. Dodgers, by winning today, will wind up splitting the series with the Marlins. This the 6th and final meeting. They will each have won 3 against the other. 2-0. Two and 1 to Deanna. Remember, against that 5-man infield the other night. His line drive single to center won the ball game. Four walk-off hits. 2 balls, 1 strike. And a drive to right. Stanton, with the wind playing with it, stays with it. So the Dodgers have the bases loaded, came up empty, and we're heading for the 9th with the Dodgers leading 8-0. Trying to sum it all up, he is bidding for his 2nd career shutout. Last year, he shut out the Giants in San Francisco. He has struck out 10. He had 13, a career high, against San Francisco. And one thing for sure, he has been very much of a successful pitcher in the month of May. And of course, this will be his last outing in May. Winning today, he will be 11-3 in his career in the month of May. Not so good, however, in June, 4-5, and that awaits him. Meanwhile, a local boy, Brett Hayes, who caught last night, will come up and pinch hit for Cishek. And ball 1. Brett Hayes hitting .370. He was born in Pasadena, but he went to school at the University of Nevada. Hayes, once drafted by the Royals, didn't sign. For Brett, his great-grandfather, named Tim, like his dad, once played in the Indians organization. And a fly ball, look out now, and it is going to be a sliding catch by Tony Gwynn. So what starts out being an ordinary fly ball gets up into that wind, and who knows what's going to happen. And here's Tony making a spectacular catch. One away. Boy, he can go get him, can he? So he's playing center in case, for one reason or another, you haven't been with us. Matt Kemp ejected for only the 2nd time in his career earlier by plate umpire Ron Copa. So here's Wes Helms finishing up for Hanley Ramirez. Hanley had to leave when his back stiffened up, so it's been that kind of a game for Florida. Every now and then you have a thoroughly forgettable game. And in some ways, except for Ricky Nolasco, who has to be bitterly disappointed, these are the kind of forgettable games when you lose. It's a lot easier to walk away from the wreckage of an 8-0 loss than it is losing 3-2, 4-3 in the 9th. the Marlins and the Dodgers certainly wish them well. The Marlins are heading for Arizona, trying to cool off the Diamondbacks. 2-2. Kershaw had made 101 pitches through 8 innings. And a high fly ball. All right, all hands on deck. And it will be Ethier. Keep thinking of that old but true story of Casey Stengel managing the New York Mets, taking them to Candlestick Park, and it was time for infield. All Casey did was hit pop flies. And after the game, they said to Casey, "That's the first time we've ever seen a team take infield without a ground ball." And Casey said, "There are no problems with the ground ball at Candlestick. It's the ones in the air." And that's exactly what's going on here with 2 out in the 9th and a foul ball off the bat of Logan Morrison. 30,621, spending a lovely afternoon. Hope you'll make your plans perhaps and be with us tomorrow, Memorial Day, for a 5-10 game with the Rockies. Off-speed pitch, and Logan was way out in front of it. Morrison got a fly ball double. You want to find out about the wind, ask Jay Gibbons. 0-2 to count to Logan Morrison. Hold on. So the Dodgers and the Marlins will wish each other have a good winter. One and two. And for the first time, and I was thinking earlier to myself, it's odd, with all the wind, we haven't seen a hitter back out with something in his eye. And finally, this howling wind made Morrison back out in the dirt. 2-2. 114 pitches now made by Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw's high 122 back in April against Atlanta, just in case Javi Guerra now is throwing back at him. And ball 3. 115 pitches. His last game in Houston, he went 6 innings, made 84 pitches. The game before that, 85. So he's not worked too much until now. High chopper, here comes for call, throws on the run, and that'll be that. So the Dodgers kind of overwhelmed the Marlins. 8 runs, 17 hits, and for the Marlins, no runs, 2 hits, and 1 error. Ricky Nolasco loses his first game of the year. He is 4-1. Clayton Kershaw picks up his 6th win and his first shutout and his first RBI, as it really matters. For Rafael Furcal, he had 2 singles, a 2-run home run, and 3 RBIs. Casey Blake had 2 hits, 2 RBIs. So for the Dodgers, it was a feast. They're high in hits at 17, and now they await the Rockies. That'll be Chad Billingsley, Jason Hamill tomorrow. Hope you'll be with us at 5:10. Stay tuned for Dodgers Live. That'll be coming up next. Good afternoon, everybody.